Okay, welcome everybody. We're doing webinar 4 on our course, and we have Tarsila with us tonight, which is a lovely thing. You get to see somebody else in action. Tarsila, I'm going to hand straight over to you.
Thank you, Christina. Today's webinar is going to be on pronunciation, guys, and I hope this helps you somehow in your confidence and raising your confidence in English. So let's get started.
Okay, I'm going to mute everybody. Okay, great. Let's move on.
In this session, we will think about accent and pronunciation. We will learn about English as a lingua franca, and we will try 2 pronunciation activities. So the first thing I want you to do is read these definitions in silence on your own. So as you can see, accents are different from pronunciation. Accent is a variation, and pronunciation is the act of producing the sounds. Yeah, it's important we have these definitions correct right from the start. They're 2 different things. Next slide, please. So, to start, I want you to tell me what is your accent in Portuguese. Write your answer in the chat box. Let's see where people are from. What is your accent? Nordestino, Carioca, Paulista, etc. Nice. Got nice representation. Paranaense, Carioca, Nordestino, Paulista. Got a Gaúcho as well. That's great. Oh, a mix. Nice. Amazonense. Interesting. Yeah. Good. Well, this shows that accent variation is very normal. Yeah, very normal in Portuguese. And it's also, next slide, very normal in English. Accent variation is very normal in English too. There are many accents in English. There's the Australian accent, accents in Britain. There are many different ones. Canadian accent, American accent, New Zealand accent, Indian accent, Singapore. There are so many. So the first thing I want you to take from this webinar is accent variation is very common. It is common for people to sound different from one another, even when they speak their own language. Yeah? Now, I want to speak with you in my accent now for about 5 minutes. So I am going to sound assim. Márcia estava me perguntando de onde eu sou. Eu sou de Recife. Então eu tenho outros nordestinos também no grupo. Eu vou falar assim pelos próximos 5 minutos, porque agora nós vamos dar uma olhada numa outra forma de enxergar o papel do inglês em sala de aula. E esse modelo foi desenvolvido mais ou menos na década de 90 e é conhecido como English as a Lingua Franca. Next slide, please. Então, primeiramente, por língua franca, nós estamos aludindo a uma língua que é utilizada ao redor do mundo por não nativos de inglês em sua comunicação com outros não nativos. Um possível exemplo disso seria vocês se comunicando em inglês com seus alunos que têm português como a língua mãe. Então, segundo esse modelo, e uma das acadêmicas mais conhecidas por essa pesquisa nesse ramo é Jennifer Jenkins, que está aí no slide de vocês, da Universidade de Southampton. Falar como um nativo não deve ser a prioridade dos nossos alunos. E, tradicionalmente, quando o termo nativo é usado em inglês, nós estamos nos referindo a uma variante de inglês chamada Received Pronunciation, ou como é também chamado RP, ou o inglês da rainha. Mas a maioria dos falantes de língua inglesa ao redor do mundo hoje não falam RP, eles falam uma variante. E muitos estudos já foram feitos para demonstrar isso. Se Cristina me permitir, depois eu posso enviar alguns links de alguns estudos para exemplificar isso. Mas o objetivo de English as a língua franca é outro, absolutamente outro. No que diz respeito à comunicação, é que os nossos alunos sejam compreendidos. Se todos os alunos do mundo falassem com o mesmo sotaque, eles seriam totalmente compreensíveis um ao outro. Mas isso não é o caso. E proponentes de English as a língua franca sugerem que, no que diz respeito ao ensino de pronúncia, nossos alunos podem alcançar competência total em um sotaque nativo, se eles quiserem, mas eles devem ter a opção de reter a sua identidade através do seu sotaque, se eles quiserem. A identidade deles é importante nesse modelo, e esse modelo de ensino vê a língua mãe como uma aliada. Então, muitos professores de língua inglesa são treinados a descartar português em sala de aula, a não usar tradução, não usar sotaque como um aliado. E com English as a língua franca, nós somos convidados a repensar isso, ou repensar talvez o nosso apego a um modelo de ensino baseado na pronúncia nativa. Next slide, please. Mas como é que isso se aplica? Vamos dar uma olhada num possível estudo de caso. Eu vou voltar a falar inglês agora. I will show you this example, and I want you to take a look and put your answers in the chat box. So this is Marcos. Marcos is having problems producing the sounds ch and j, as in chair and page. So which Brazilian accent can help him practice this? Write your answers in the chat box now. If you need to think, that's okay.
Yes, Raphael, you want to ask a question?
No, I'm sorry. I'm putting the wrong button.
That's okay. I can take your hand.
So lots of different possibilities, right? We have, so I think let me see, it was Layani who suggested carioca, for example. There isn't a right or wrong answer, but carioca is a good example because, next slide, as you will see, the accent from Rio de Janeiro and the accent from São Paulo contain those sounds in words like chia and gia. So the ch from chia is similar to, or the same actually, as ch in chair. And j from gia is the same sound as j in page. So you could give those words to this student and ask him to practice these sounds based on an accent he already knows, or he has already heard, or he is familiar with. So that is one way of approaching pronunciation with English as a lingua franca as a focus.
Kelson has a question. Kelson, would you like to unmute and ask?
Hi, I'd like to say something about this. 3 years ago, I had the opportunity to visit some schools in Finland, in Denmark, in Norway, and in Estonia. All of the schools use English as a lingua franca, and the results are exceptional in all of them.
It's definitely a different approach. I would be so interested to hear about your experience observing these schools, because the results are certainly fascinating. I will talk, oh, sorry, yeah.
No, you can speak.
I was just going to say, we will talk a bit more about the particular aspects of pronunciation specifically in English as a lingua franca. But let's go on to the next part, because now Christina will stop recording and we can have a chat about it.
Okay, thank you.
Chat here now. Where do you want to have this conversation, Tarsila? In the next segment?
A gallery is okay.
Right now? Yeah?
Yeah, sure. In gallery mode?
Yes, so I'm going to do that right now. Let's record it, because it's nice to have these discussions all together. Okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so anyone want to make any comments? We can talk for 3 or 4 minutes now. There are more opportunities to talk later too. What is your reaction to this idea of English as a lingua franca so far? Okay, Liliane is writing great approach in the chat. Yes, Japanese people have difficulties to pronounce English words. Yes, that often happens too. Okay. I am going to share the screen and we will carry on for a bit in order to keep to our timing. There's always time at the end of the session to do that. Okay. I'm going to stop the recording right now. Thank you. This is the first part of our webinar. Thank you, Tarsila. We'll be back with part 2 in a moment.